Hello, my viewers and subscribers. I have another video here for you. This is very important, guys. And I want you guys to share this far and wide. And I want you to continue subscribing, sharing, commenting, liking, and watching with your friends. Guys, this is really interesting. You know, there is a debate currently in Jamaica in the parliament about a 50-year mandatory minimum sentence for capital murder. And would you believe that the opposition led by Mark Golding is not in favor of it? They're finding all manner of excuses to say no. And I'm wondering, are these people really working on behalf of the people? Or are they trying to work together to formulate a plan to try and deter these murderers, capital murderers? Are they just opposing just because? I'm going to let you listen to the debate and listen for yourself and make up your own minds. But guys, know who's in the best interest of the people. And with that being said, I want you guys to recall a case that happened some years ago in Jamaica, Mandeville. A man who was in prison for some time, killed his wife, murdered his wife, dismembered her, cut out her organs, did 15 years or a little less than 15 years, came back out on parole after doing that, my friends. And you know what he did when he came out? Came out and killed another woman and then killed himself. So these people in Jamaica, they need to understand that you can't just take these vicious murderers, put them behind bars and rehabilitate and put them back out. There are some people who cannot be rehabilitated, and I don't think Mark Golding understands that. So watch this video and let me know what you think.
How are they all going to fit? Where are the rehabilitation programs to try and reorient those people who have committed crimes so that when they come back into society, so we all understand the need to be firm when it comes to dealing with serious criminal offenses, and we're in favor of that. But we need to also think through the impact and implications of changing the rules in this way. For example, the backlog in the criminal justice system, which has been cleared as a result of reform as Minister of Justice, to encourage guilty persons to plead guilty and get a discount so that they get out of the court system and into the prison system much quicker. With the new mandatory minimum sentences, that is now a spoke in the wheel. So you're going to have many more cases that would have been dealt with through a guilty plea now going to trial in the gun court and so on. The court system is going to be overwhelmed by that.
And who said that there are people who even do their degrees in prison. And I asked myself, so if I did a degree in prison, how would that serve me well if I had to be there for this long period of time? I would have demonstrated my remorse, my desire to become rehabilitated into the society, an aptitude which I had never displayed before. But it does not serve me in any way because I have to serve this kind of sentence. And I think about what incarceration does to a person, because I cannot escape that. I think 50 years is just too long. I do think 50, I don't know how the government came to that. I have been trying to search around for some data. I have been trying to look at the justification for this amount, and I cannot.
I help you a bit by saying how that was arrived at. The two alternatives were death or life without parole. But the reason you need to give some guidance to the stakeholders, if there was a plea of guilty, then you would not necessarily want to put life without parole. So to the of a capital murder, its sentence is death or life imprisonment. If life imprisonment is imposed, the judge can go indicate it's life imprisonment without parole. But the judge, if the judge imposes a sentence, and the present law is that the judge cannot will impose life imprisonment and say you must serve at least, and the present law is 15 years. The proposal is to make it, the present law is 20 years. The proposal is to make it 50 years for capital murder. Bearing in mind, colleagues, that the capital murder is death or life imprisonment. But if a sentence of life imprisonment is imposed, then the present law, you must serve at least 20 years. And the proposal is to say, once you're convicted of of capital murder, and death is not imposed, life imprisonment, and I expect that in 9 out of 10 cases, it might well be life imprisonment without parole because of the seriousness of the offense. But if the judge, maybe because of the tender age, should I say that the accused might be 19 or 20, so the judge might well say, life imprisonment, you must serve 50 years. The last set of capital murders I saw was the one in Clarendon where the fellow was life imprisonment and you must serve 60 years, I think because of the number of murders. And in truth, in many capital cases, it's because there's more than 2 or more actual murders, okay? So let's make a decision. Do we agree with the 50?
Account, in arriving at our decision, we are taking into account the present state of our prisons, which you say we shouldn't take into account, but I can't disabuse my mind from it. And also, the cost to taxpayers there. And not only that, but the fact that if somebody is sentenced, a 30-year-old person who is sentenced is an 80-year-old man, and the burdens on the state of taking care of the elderly population in prison is going to be devastating because we're not equipped for it. We're not equipped for taking care of old people, sick people. Minister, there are so many people of that age who have every known physical condition to man, diabetes, hypertension.
You know,
it's just
no,
that. Let me tell you, let me just finish, Minister. So I'm just saying that one has to take a holistic view of what one is trying to do. And whereas I know that the eye for an eye and the punitive aspect of it is compelling, I know that. I understand what the society is calling for. I mean, we see it even with Israel and the Palestinians, the eye for an eye attitude. And the consequences, I'm just saying that we should look at the consequences. For my own part, I believe that the increase in these sentences are far too dramatic.
That there's always the residual possibility, put it no stronger than that, that persons in custody who are ill, disabled, they can appeal to the Governor General. And there are many old persons who have been referred to old people's home outside, leave the prison, go into halfway houses, into various other facilities, especially if they're sick and can't be cared for. So that's always a possibility. And I don't appreciate the empathy you towards old persons who may be there and die in prison. But Senator Motley, you cannot ignore the demand of the society now for these grievous offenses which occur, where at the moment you see the senseless, heartless contract killers. These contract killers have no empathy towards their victims, and the sentence of the court must reflect that.
And respectfully, Minister, I don't think that there is anything in our present sentencing arrangements which prevents a judge from taking that into account. You just mentioned the cocoa piece killer. I am from up that way. To reach with the hall, you have to go through cocoa piece. I understand how the community feels because I was a part of that community. It got 62 years. So there is within, if you look at even the murder sentencing table which the DPP sent us to guide us, Minister, those are not light sentences which were given. But let me say this, the government is determined to increase the mandatory minimum. That's a fact. The question now which confronts us is, should we agree to a 300% increase? should we agree to a 200% increase? My view of it is that since we cannot shift government policy, because this is what is on the table for us, we should try to arrive at a just increase. People, it just occurred to me. I'm not going to say what occurred to me.
Okay,
I was saying people don't increase things by 300%.
No,
but
no,
I'm going
no,
to withdraw that immediately.
We're moving. We're moving from 20 to 50. Look at this. What is your proposal? We're moving from 20 to 50. We're talking about capital murder, where the sentence is either death or life imprisonment. The possibility it could be life imprisonment without parole, but if the judge is going to say life imprisonment or X, what should X be? So the proposal of the executive is 50 years. What is the proposal of just this joint select committee appointed by Parliament, so it can go back to Parliament for Parliament to either accept or adjust as the case may be?
Every day. Now, apparently the government put forward this proposal and say, they might look some minimum mandatory sentence for the perpetrators of capital murder in Jamaica. Must be 50 years, them say. And somehow, the opposition find some way to oppose the sentence to them. We can't understand it. Remember one time I tell you, say, Jamaican politicians no serious about for self-crime. See it and now staring at the face. We know the political silly season. Local government election upon the horizon. The general election is somewhere in the distance to come. And opposition just oppose sake. But good God Almighty, some of them suck me on if you just leave it alone. Can we agree and come to a consensus? So we have a crisis in terms of violent, murderous crime in Jamaica. Every time some 8-year-old get killed or some woman get killed or some children get killed or some old people get killed, some innocent people get killed, them jump on the platform and them spout off some platitude. And now, the recommendation will come. If even the devil I recommend something to try and address the level of violent, brutal, and callous crime we have in Jamaica. And people that are supposed to be Jamaicans and look out for the interests of Jamaicans and find it in them heart with a straight face. And I tell you, say, the mandatory sentence for capital murder too much. One of them understand, say, what them are do is defend the people and we are kill children,